Listen, I got to get right to this Syrian situation. Then we're going to talk a little bit about Virginian politics. A lot of people really can't figure out why we're sending 50 or so special ops troops to Syria. We have no authorization of military engagement that I can find that Congress approved. We don't really know what 50 people are going to do other than be in harm's way. Nobody has any idea what the mission is. Many people think ISIS just blew up a Russian plane coming back from the Sinai Peninsula in Egypt. Do you have any idea what Mr. Obama's policy is?
Unfortunately, I don't think it's policy. I think it's politics. These are 50 special ops forces, and ordinarily, if a president were going to insert special ops forces someplace, they would do it without telling people, wouldn't they?
Yes.
This is actually just a token gesture, and if you compare that to what the Russians are doing, you can see why the U.S. is ceding its foreign policy in the Middle East to other countries, particularly Russia. And it's very concerning because this is, for this president, this is just like trying to play a little bit of makeup on a huge mistake he made in withdrawing the last troops that we had that Congress did authorize in Iraq. If he had kept one medium-sized military base in Iraq, ISIS never would have gotten the foothold that they got. He learned that lesson too late. He learned it in Afghanistan, and he slowed down there. But why put all the blood, sweat, toil, and taxpayer dollars into these countries and then just say, well, you know what, I don't like that, so I'm going to pull them all out? He's finding out why, and this is his, quote, makeup, but he doesn't have congressional authorization to do anything in Syria, and he is looking really weak around the world as a result.
Look, there's no question, and here's the other thing, Mr. Chairman. If my son or daughter was one of those 50 people being sent over there, I don't think I would be too happy about it because my son or daughter is going to be, those 50 are sitting ducks, basically. Not enough to make a difference. It is political. We've announced what we're going to do with them. I mean, I don't think I've ever seen this in my lifetime.
Well, getting ourselves involved in Syria requires his approval from the United States Congress.
Right.
Every president before him, whether it was popular or controversial or not, recognized that if you're not going to have a declaration of war, you got to at least have an authorization for use of military force. This president didn't do that in Libya, and we know the consequences of that. Now he's making a similar mistake in Syria, and it is very concerning. When you're right, I mean, these people are in harm's way. If you do send special ops into a country, you got to have a specific plan with the right military leadership. And this really, when you announce it like he did, looks like, oh yeah, I'm gonna play in this game, but I'm only going to put in a small ante. It looks stupid.
Congressman, let's get to President Obama's amnesty program. Now it appears that he's prepared to defy a federal order by Judge Hanen in Texas. We've seen this president go around laws, if you will, but now he's getting ready to defy an order from a federal judge. How does he get away with it?
Well, I don't think he does, and I think this will get him into real hot water. First of all, he has an interpretation of the law that he claims gives him the authority to give administrative amnesty to 5 million people. Well, of course, if he can do it for 5 million, he can do it for 10 million or 11 million or however many are there. And one of the things they're looking at in this leaked document that we got possession of is the fact that some people in his administration are advising him he can just give work authorization to everybody who is here. Now, I think that he's already defying what most members of Congress believe is the law in this area. So he's been taken to court, thankfully, by 26 state attorneys general who are winning that lawsuit. The district court judge has agreed. So far, the circuit court judges have not chosen to overturn the injunction imposed by the district court judge, and that lawsuit is making its way through the courts. He knows that he's running out of time. He's got a little more than a year left of his presidency, and he is thinking about defying that. I think it would be a huge mistake that will result in an enormous backlash. He's already fallen dramatically in terms of the respect of the public with relation to his immigration policies. That started about 15 months ago with the border surge across the southern border. And that border surge, while it ebbs and flows, is still much higher than it was before the word got out in Central America and other places that if you come to the United States, they're going to let you in. We also have access to information that the administration knows that they have, the word has gotten out in Guatemala and in Honduras and El Salvador that if you go to the U.S., they're going to let you in. And when they have apprehended these people and they have interviewed them, the information from the U.S. Border Patrol is, yeah, that's exactly what they're saying. The overwhelming majority say that they were told if they come to the United States, they're going to be admitted to the country and given welfare benefits. And so, now to take this step and try to defy the courts as well, which are the check, in our system of checks and balances, when the president disagrees with the Congress, where do you go? You go to the courts. Now he's saying, I might defy the courts. Well, he hasn't done it yet, and I'm glad this was brought out because I think this will be a good shot across his bow. But this is a truly outrageous suggestion on the part of some of his staff that he could go ahead and effectively give work authorization to everyone who's in the country illegally.
Mr. Chairman, the arrogance of this is beyond the pale. You have politicians defying court orders in our system of governance, and you have basically chaos. I mean, it's what you have. There's no other even way to spin this thing. If any businessman or any other U.S. citizen defied a court order, you would be handcuffed and taken away. That's the way the system works. I've got one more minute, and we know you have to take off. Virginia elections on Tuesday. We have termed this as a major defeat for Virginia Governor Terry McAuliffe. He put a tremendous amount of resources, time, and effort and political capital in winning the state Senate back for the Democrats. He did not do that. Republicans pushing back on a major effort by McAuliffe and maintain control, basically a wash with their supermajority in the House. What are your thoughts and comments, sir, on Tuesday's Virginia results?
Oh, well, it's a relief because you're absolutely right. Governor McAuliffe has a similar mindset to President Obama in terms of what his policies are and what he'd like to try to jam the legislative branch in doing, and he was pushed back. I think this is the reason why Obama lost control of the Congress a few years ago, and this is the same reason why Governor McAuliffe cannot regain the Virginia Senate. People do not trust their leadership, and the reason for that is that they have a tendency to want to expand the size of government and expand the power of the executive branch in government. The people's check against that are the legislative bodies, and they responded and did just that. There were a few races that I was disappointed we didn't win, like Nancy Dye in Roanoke, who would have made a great member of the Virginia Senate. But overall, you're right. The amount of money that they put in to try to win back the Virginia Senate and then having failed is a great victory for the state Republicans and the Republicans in the General Assembly, who will now be able to continue to stand up to this governor's aggressive big government policies.
It's certainly an epic fail for Virginia Governor Terry McAuliffe on Tuesday night. Mr. Chairman Robert Goodlatte, good to have you with us, sir. We appreciate the time. Republican 6th District in Virginia. It's always good to have you on, sir. Thanks for being with us.
Thank you, John.
All right.